They spent a lot of weeks trying to, you know, give back, but they got gift cards in the end. It's fine, I guess. I don't know if that's fine like that. That can't pay the bills, but they're young. Here, just hold on. But what happened is they've been so eager. Their Brother Willie's here. Two of the boys up here, that's their father. And I like Brother Willie because he actually is one of those parents that encourage his sons to play and to practice. I don't know if you guys ever had experience where maybe your parents when you were growing up were just like, put that music stuff down and go study a book. You understand? Like, that's a real thing. But he really encourages them. But the thing is, they're here tonight. I'm going to let them introduce themselves once I'm done. They're going to play something, right? And they're going to play something. And they actually asked for our seasoned musicians, you know who you are, to give constructive criticism after they play because they want to learn. Now, believe it or not, they always tell us in church and wherever else, like, yo, people are watching you, you're a leader, this, that, and the third. But these are the boys that will sit on their phone on Instagram and watch majority of y'all in here and try to mimic what you're doing. So that's why to them, even though they're probably like sweating bullets on the inside, to them, like, they're really excited to be here because they look at this as an opportunity for them to be better, which is really dope. So after they're going to introduce themselves and I guess their age and whatever, I don't know, grade, if they play, whatever. But after they're done, Kiera and Terrell will take over. But they want to hear feedback. Don't hold back, guys. Don't be scared, but don't hurt my feelings either. But just pop up, the mic is here, and just say, hey, well, I like what you did at this, but you can improve this way. You know, little things like that, because they want this. Trust me, they're going to eat up everything that you say to them tonight. Okay? Good? Y'all good? Why y'all look more scared than them? All right. What? You have the mic? Go ahead. You can start and pass it around. Huh? So I don't know. Fix it. In the meantime, while they're trying to fix the mic, Roy is a representative from the conference, from our Sunday Adventist conference. He's going to say a few words.
Good night, everyone.
Oh, well, figure it out.
My name is Hector Willie, and I play keys, and I'm 16 years old, and I continue to do this ministry.
Good night, everybody. All right, my name is Joshua. I'm 16 years old, and yeah, I'm playing bass guitar.
Good night, everybody. My name is Nicholas Burt. I'm originally a keys player, but these guys, they asked me to help them because I guess their organist didn't come. So I'm 18 years old, by the way. Yeah, I also do this ministry.
Good night, everyone. My name is Joshua Willie. I'm 15 years old, and I play drums.
Yeah, So I'm gonna get three feedback from three individuals. So don't pop up all that quickly, but we want to give them that feedback. And one of the most important things that we can do for our young people is support them and provide them the feedback for them to continue to grow and the forum in which to do that. So, who'll be first?
Just want to tell you guys you're doing a great job. You sounded wonderful. Sounded great. You played well. I could tell that you guys were a little bit nervous, but that's okay. Even though you're nervous, work through the nervousness, play through it, and don't let the nervousness stop you from playing or, however you want to say, ministering. One thing that I'd recommend you guys do is get more into what you're doing, be more connected to it, and communicate a little bit with each other a little bit more. But other than that, I think you guys did really great. You know, so keep it up, you're on your way.
All right.
Hi, I think you guys did a great job. I just have a piece of advice specifically for everybody, but specifically for the drummer. A metronome is your best friend. As a musician, as a singer, practice with a metronome. It will help you understand how to keep time. And as the drummer, you're kind of like the glue that keeps the band together because you're keeping everyone on time with your drumming. So I understand you guys probably were a little bit nervous, but practicing with a metronome will help you stay on tempo so that when it does come time for you to play in front of a crowd, you already have that tempo and you'll already be used to it, that you'll be able to play flawlessly and do all your hits and all that stuff on time and sound more cohesive. So that's what I wanted to say.
All right. Anybody else? Seemed like this side was really involved. Anyone from over here?
So y'all sound good, but I think dynamics should have been there. Like, it's a worship song, and when you're worshiping God, it could be high, it could be low, and y'all could have done like a better job being more specific with the dynamics, and I think that's all. But y'all sound good though.
All right. So we got metronome for the timing. We have the importance of feeling, letting it be expressive in how you express yourself, and the communication with each other. Also the idea of the dynamics. The dynamics are like, so get to like the hallelujah, it should be, okay. So hopefully you guys have gotten some of that feedback. And anybody else? I don't want to make sure I miss anybody. Anybody else? Okay. 1, 2.
So on the piano, I think one simple thing you could adjust that opens it all up is your right hand can move up an octave. You know, it's more comfortable. It's more comfortable to keep your hands together, but moving your hand up an octave, especially for like the intro, the same thing you're playing, no new information, just spread it an octave. It opens the song up, and you have a motif. So if you're playing a patch that has like strings and piano, like you might want to start off with the strings and piano, and then move the faders down and go back into, we're talking about dynamics, bring it back into just piano and save something for later. You know, you can like mix sounds and without learning another chord, without doing anything else musically different, just spreading the octave makes a huge difference. And whatever you do is going to inspire the bass player. Whatever the bass player does inspire the drummer. So that's how we can communicate more without doing anything new per se.
All right, thank you. We got one more and then we got to go.
First and foremost, I just want to say you guys sound amazing. I have a brother that's just a little bit younger than you guys, and I'm trying to get him to do what you guys are doing. But what I can say is, as far as being so nervous, you can only start from the bottom and work your way up. We can fall sometimes, but you still have to work your way up. And this is not that many people compared to where you guys can be. So you cannot be nervous when you see this amount of people, especially if you want to work towards being, you know, some of the great musicians that you see just in this room alone. You can't be so nervous. And that's from a singer's point of view. It only goes up from there. You guys sound amazing.
All right. So, again, I just wanted to thank everyone for the opportunity, and I really, more importantly, especially representing Northeastern Conference, we want to really thank, again, Ground Zero, the Amazing Grace Church here for being a part of this. This is great. Really, this needs to be like duplicated in other places because a lot of folks need to hear this information. But more importantly, to the young men and to all of the other musicians, taking that initiative, one of the biggest things you can do is ask for feedback and then being open to that feedback. And then taking that information and now doing something with it. So you just learned that the motif, you can split that and all of a sudden go from strings. That's information that you just got. You are the idea of being able to play together and show that feeling. All of those things are important because what you guys are doing with the band is one thing. There's a whole nother perspective. Then you have a praise team in front of you that is all doing a whole nother thing. And then you have an entire audience that you're trying to motivate to participate. Whole lot going on. So there's a huge opportunity for all of this. And I guess I'm just happy to be able to be a part of this. And thank you guys so much.
All right, one last thing. Josh and the board player. What's your name again? Jared. So Jared and Josh, y'all gotta be a little bit more locked. Now you was playing a 4 to a 1 and Josh was playing a 4 to a 3. Y'all have to decide like which one y'all wanna do and like try to commit to it and try to like play more together. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Now we will have Jammal and Mike. Yeah. Jammal is the keyboard player. Michael is the organist.
it was, you know, we never played together, but we definitely communicated. And one thing that Brother Andrew was saying, that when you're playing, you need to be connected. That's very important because we're up here not in of ourselves. I'm playing with a guitar player, I'm playing with the organist. And one thing I've learned in a band, you have to kind of, we used to say as a church band, we used to be like, keep your antennas up. So like when my man is like, you know, going for something, you know, when you hear him doing something, back up. So I didn't get a chance to communicate with Brother Michael on that B section of It Could Have Been Me, but I heard him taking the lead on the melody, so that was my time just to fall back, just to play the chords and everything. While Andrew was soloing, I was just staying right where I need to be. So one thing I would like to say in relationship between the keyboard player and the organist, all right? You have to know when the person is the leader. So, in playing many praise and worship songs, we know in church today that the piano player is the main role of that, right? But then when we go to praise music, then you should allow like the organist to kind of take over. But there definitely should never be like a battle of who is in charge and who's doing what. We all support each other. And one thing I like to say in a band, if one is playing like a rhythm, the other one should be holding. So we shouldn't necessarily be playing the same thing, you know. I'm just talking about like the pattern and the bounce. Right, exactly. So, you know, it shouldn't be like if you know, it's just like, for instance, like if we was doing like a churchy thing, right? So I'm playing really like Chucky. You know, me and the guitar player, we have to watch that because we're both playing chords. And the organist too, we all have to watch that. So sometimes I know for me, if I'm on the organ and I know the keyboard player is chucking, then I'm just holding a note, you know. But Brother Michael, he started, you know, holding down the bass notes and everything on the organ as, you know, he's supposed to. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's something vitally important to know in relationship and playing with a band is just knowing your role, you know, as a piano player. All right, I think I've set it up, y'all. Are there any questions? Any questions for us keyboard players, because this is our time. Any questions? Got one over here. One? Yes. Oh, they need the mic. Here you go.
I'm sorry, guys, I was joking. But, yeah, you give lessons, right?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. He asked, do I give lessons? But in that, I do give lessons, but I don't do the you know, I want lessons, but you never really come through. I don't do that. I'm very serious in what I do. So, but I definitely do, so we can make that happen. I believe there was another question right here.
Can you talk a little bit about like the way the guitarists and organists or guitarists and pianists work together?
All right, well, one thing to know is this. The piano, the organ, and guitars, and bass, we are somewhat, we all play rhythm, but we all are melodic instruments. So that, to me, is very important. I've learned that in a band, you know, us, you know, from a guitar player and piano player, we should all be playing the same chords. You know, I should be playing, you know, if I'm playing, what's the, How Great Is Our God or something, you know. No, just So you know, because we play together, we kind of know that. But that's a good question because again, you know, guitar players are a vital role to be in a band. They're just not just, you know, some people don't really consider them in the band, but for me, guitar players are a real instrument to me in a band. So again, I just think that we should all be around the same melodic, harmonic chords and should be together on that. Andrew?
To add to that, we have like open chord voicings. There's this guy, he passed away years ago. His name is Benjamin Love, right? And Benji was like the master of open chord voicings. So if you're playing a song with musicians that you haven't played before that play melody and chords, you know, sometimes leave out the third. Leave out certain elements so you leave room so that there's no bad notes, you know. If you play certain cadences, it really makes everybody have to lock in. But if you play suspensions, things like that, it makes room for us to get along and learn each other, you know. And especially if you got a bass player, don't play the bass. Let the bass player, you know, I play with Terrell like every week, you know. So once he's setting up, I'm playing bass. As soon as he gives me like 3 or 4 notes, I'm out. And if you got a good bass player like him, you can follow him. That's what everybody wants to do, follow the bass player, you know. So learning how to follow the progressions that's suggested in an open way is really the goal.
Is there any more questions for us as pertains to keyboards? All right. One more question. Okay.
I have a question about worship and vulnerability. As a keyboardist, what level of vulnerability do you have when you're worshiping? Because I know it's about, you know, sounding good and making sure you have the right notes. But when it comes to worship, the praise team is worship. Where does the band stand? Or where does the keyboardist lead out when it comes to worship?
Vulnerability. Vulnerability. Can you explain what you mean? Can you give me more detail?
Meaning, like, the musicians are not focusing on doing 3/4. They're focusing, oh, we're doing how great is our God, and they're thinking, how great is our God while we're playing? Like, I don't see that much with musicians, and I'm not saying that they don't worship, but if you're leading a team or a band, what level of importance do you give vulnerability when you're playing in worship?
Okay, so vulnerability to God, I'm assuming vulnerability to God. Okay. As it pertains to vulnerability to God, that's very important especially, I gotta say in all forms. It's the vulnerability to God is very important because He's the one that has to use us to kind of play, and we gotta if you're not being used by Him, it's gonna limit how much effect you're gonna have on the surroundings, on the atmosphere. So it's very important to be connected to the source and to be vulnerable to the source. Other than that, you really are out there on your own. I've been out there a few times on my own and know what that feels like. It's not a funny thing. I'm supposed to go next in my presentation, so I'm probably going to just go into it from this point.
One more keyboard question. I don't want. Hey, my God.
Yeah. So, when you have a bass player, and you know, for like the keyboardist, the left hand is supposed to be normally used to the bass. What chords are you supposed to do with your left hand? Are you supposed to like do same chords you do with your right hand?
Pretty much.
Or like inversions?
Pretty much, right. You answering your own question. Inversions of the same chord that your right hand is playing. So if we're playing, like, let's say a D minor, right? A D minor 7, right? So the bass note is that. And so all right, boom, you play how, what's that song? You Deserve It, right? So the first note is a B major 7, right? So this is what your left hand, your right hand will be playing. So my left hand will be playing an extension of that as well. Of your left hand. about it like this. If your left hand is playing chords down here, that's too low. It's too muddy. It's too much in the bass register. So you kind of want to be anything above, I would say, this C right here. Because anything lower than that is way too low. And actually probably, yeah, probably that D flat right here. So anything lower than that, you probably want to stay away. But as far as the chords, you play the same chords. Like when I first started playing, I used to take like the F major 7 chord, right? So keyboard players, if you don't know, it's F, A, C, E, right? And then I would add the 9, which is the G. And so I would actually play the same chord with both hands. So, and just go through all my chords. Just to develop my left hand. So my left hand was always, whatever I was doing, because I practiced taking those same chords, you know, even if it was a minor chord, right? C minor, C sharp minor, D minor. So I'm just saying, basically take your same right hand chords and definitely learn your right hand chords and play them with your left. Whether it's major, whether it's minor, you know. But I don't want to get into it. I think that's all my time. I don't want to take too much time, but thank you. But you're the host, right? I think you. Yeah.
Why don't I get teeth? I have a real question. So I play, right? But I don't know what I'm doing. For some reason, I read notes very, very well. But if you ask me what key the song is in, I'll see like the 3 sharps and I can't tell you what key it is, but I know what I'm doing. And then I can look at the hymnal and I can add solo stuff. And I have no idea what I'm doing. Right. So now my question is, how do I learn how to play by ear? Even though it sounds weird because it should be like you can pick it up. Because if I hear something, I know I can't play for praise and worship.
Study with someone.
All right. That's the best question for reading and playing by ear.
You have to sit under someone who knows how to do what you're trying to do. That goes for life. You know what you want to do. Find somebody who does it well. And sit under them, learn.
I just wanted to say one more thing too. For young musicians coming up, listen, it's great to play by ear. It's great to play by ear. I played by ear, but at the same time I was blessed to be in band, so I did learn how to read. But then I just wanted to say this. Take the time and invest in learning how to read. Because if you're going to make a full-time career out of doing music, trust me, there's some doors that won't be open for you because you can't read. And you don't have to be the world's greatest reader, but like she said, 3 sharps, you should know that's A major. You know, you should know G is 1 sharp. You know what I mean? 1 flat is F. You should know these things. Knowing your theory, being able to read, whether it's chord symbols, you know, knowing that C major 7, C minor 7, knowing C diminished, knowing these things, will open up more of a bigger world of opportunities for you. So I just want to encourage you musicians to definitely take time out to study with somebody to learn how to read. And the best thing you can start as a church musician is the hymnal. Because if you want to make a great career in music and playing for a church, the hymns are the foundation. So the more hymns you know is the more, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say the word, but it's the more points you can get. Yeah.
So we're finished. We've been out of time. Thank you so much.
rhythm, stay one second, guys. The difference between rhythm and lead would be this. Play the same thing. More of a lead thing I'm going to do now. I only use rhythm. I'll use rhythm if there's another guitar player playing lead. Other than that, I'll play back and forth with lead and rhythm parts and try to stay out of the way of the organist and the keyboard player. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for listening.
everybody. Hi.
Hi. Hey, Kyle.
All right. The Shutter Party's happening. Let's have some structure with it.
Yeah.
How we normally do it. You know, we have other instruments with us, so that's the drum thing. Also, drumming, since it's a bunch of us, just watch the volume. Just, you know, everybody plays the same thing. Also, when it's common ground, when everybody's playing the same thing, try not to do too much. That way, everybody's on the same page. It doesn't sound like a whole bunch of stuff going on. And have fun. Everybody's more than welcome. Come play, whatever.
Yo, you got it. One.
all come in real quick. Let's create a punch with that kick first. Because you want to feel the bass. Alright? Let's try that. Here we go. 1. So I do it first, and then me, you. Like 1. You want me to come up? You got to establish the foundation first. So keep that kick going, and everybody has to play a consistent pattern. All right, let's try that again. 2, 1, 2, 3.